Good morning and welcome to the morning report. My name is Willie Lawson. Listen, this morning we are going to do myth versus fact when it concerns the ICE protests and the like in Minnesota. We'll get started right away. Myth number one, and that you'll hear on regular media: ICE is rounding up people indiscriminately. No, the fact is, ICE arrests in Minnesota are targeted enforcement actions, not random sweeps. Under Operation Metro Surge, the majority of arrests involve individuals with prior removal orders, criminal histories, violent and nonviolent, gang or trafficking connections, repeat immigration violations, and ICE has openly acknowledged that not every arrest is a violent felon. See, that narrative got out that they were only picking up violent felons. Well, no, they're picking up violent felons and they're also picking up the people around them. So unfortunately, if your cousin is a violent felon and you are protecting them in your apartment, you're gonna get picked up too, especially if you're here illegally. People who have gang or trafficking connections, repeat immigration violations. Um, the operation prioritizes high risk individuals by also enforcing existing immigration law. That's still going on against repeat violators. That's enforcement, not chaos. And this is why this matters. Calling everything indiscriminate is a rhetorical trick designed to erase distinctions and provoke moral panic. Myth number two: ICE arrests people, but no one is actually being deported. Well, here's the truth. Minnesota arrests are feeding directly into removals. Deportation is a process, not an instant event. And for a lot of us, it's kind of too bad, right? It's like you figure you get arrested, and then the next thing should be on an airplane back to Mexico City, or back to Somalia, or back to Quebec, or wherever the hell you came from, right? Because it's not an instant event, individuals are first detained, they are processed, transferred, and then they are removed under existing federal authority. Nationally, over 500,000 deportations have occurred since the start of the Trump second term. And Minnesota cases are part of that pipeline. ICE is not running a publicity stunt. It's executing sustained removals. And why this matters is activists intentionally blur detention and deportation to suggest failure, well, where there none exists. Myth number three: ICE is acting outside the law. Well, here's the fact: ICE operations in Minnesota are operating under federal statutory authority, reinforced by federal courts. Even after legal challenges and temporary injunctions, appellate courts have allowed operations to continue, affirming federal supremacy in immigration enforcement. This is not some rogue action. It is constitutionally grounded in federal law enforcement. And why this matters: the lawless ICE narrative collapses once the courts weigh in, which is why activists prefer street theater to legal arguments. Myth number four: local communities universally oppose ICE. And when you see this, and you see this in the media every day, all day long, the impression that they're trying to push upon people is that this is happening everywhere, and everybody hates ICE. Every it's like the middle school thing. Everybody hates you. Nobody likes you. But that's not true. And this isn't true because the fact is that Minnesota protests are loud, but they're not representative. Across the country, including here in the great state of Florida, places like Texas, Tennessee, and parts of the Midwest, ICE works daily with county sheriffs like like Grady Judd, county sheriffs, local police departments, victim advocacy groups, jail systems under the 287G agreements. Those communities rarely protest because enforcement there is routine. It's cooperative and effective. Why this matters is that media only shows conflict zones. Normal enforcement does not generate viral footage. All right, myth number 5. ICE causes the chaos. Here's the fact. ICE shows up after policy failure, not before it. ICE does not create border surges, asylum abuse, visa overstays, sanctuary policies. ICE is downstream enforcement. So these things happen up here, and then ICE comes in later downstream after all these things happen, right? So when local jurisdictions refuse cooperation or an enforcement becomes visible and disruptive. When they cooperate, enforcement is quiet and efficient, like it is here. If there is a an ICE detention warrant on someone here in Lakeland, Florida, then ICE gets a notice that the person has been arrested, and they go to the county jail or this or the city jail or wherever and pick them up. They send a couple of officers in a car, they pick them up, they put them in a car, and they're off. There's no screaming, there's no yelling, there's no shooting, there's no nothing. It just happens. It's boring. Well, it's not boring, but it is not viral. And that's how it's supposed to work. It's quiet and efficient. And why that matters is blaming ICE for chaos. It's like blaming firefighters for smoke. Final myth. This is headed towards another summer of love. Remember that? Here's the fact. Conditions are fundamentally different. Federal enforcement is centralized and persistent. The courts are backing continued operations. The administration is politically willing to absorb the backlash. Because you don't see, because what you don't see is Trump, and you don't see Tom Homan flinching or trying to walk anything back. If anything, they're doubling down. Even if the media is letting these people scream and yell and throw themselves on the ground like children, the administration and the ICE administration under the direction of Tom Homan, which is also any part of the Obama administration, but that's neither here nor there. They've decided that they're not going to back down. They're going to continue these enforcement initiatives. So public tolerance for disorder is far lower than it was in 2020. I think that people are, we've talked about this before on the show, people are tired. People are like, oh, I can't. Because it is impossible to care about everything, isn't it? People are, people are still getting used to this post hyperinflation time where everything costs more money, where the electricity in your house costs more money, and the gas in your car costs more money, and the food in your refrigerator costs more money, and hell, the refrigerator costs more money. People are just trying to live their lives in the best possible way they can. They don't have time for all of this. I think that these protesters and these agitators and these organizers who are the worst people of these things are misreading the audience. The audience is tired. The audience is fatigued. The audience just wants to, go to, Nick at Night and watch old episodes of Doug. Did you like Doug? I'm a little old for Doug, but I like Doug. Right? And his girlfriend, Patty Mayonnaise. Too funny. Or actually Cat Dog or Rocko's Modern Life. Rocko's Modern Life. Love that show. That's what people want to do. That's why network TV is suffering, because people are getting off of network TV and the news, and they're watching YouTube, and they're finding again episodes of Rocko's Modern Life, whose best friend is a boy cow named Heifer. You think the trans people will be into that? Maybe not. But anyway, So public tolerance for all this nonsense is way lower than it was in 2020. Escalation produces attrition. The more it gets, the more ridiculous it gets, the more people bail out. So, and why this matters is that protest movements win when the authority retreats, and that ain't gonna happen. My name is Willie Lawson. Welcome to the Morning Report. Until we see you again, go out there and learn to love somebody. And for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself because we will see you when we see you. Bye bye now.